Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Great CEO podcast. I'm Jim Schleckser. I'm your host. I'm the CEO of the Inc. CEO Project. And I have with me today another great CEO, Steve Sobota from Hunter Warfield, somebody we've worked with for a long time, and I can tell for sure is a great CEO. So, hey, Steve, welcome aboard.
Hey there, Jim. Hello, folks.
Hey. So we're going to go through a bunch of questions, kind of get to know you and your business a little bit better and sort of what makes you a great CEO. So in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what your company does.
Well, the name of the company, we've had the name Hunter Warfield, the company name behind you in my background, for 17 years. And we have just recently acquired another company to provide a number of other services. So rather than just providing one service, which is bad debt collections to the multi-housing industry, we're now going to be performing 5 services for the multi-housing industry, starting with noticing residents on the community, voice interface, interaction with residents, all related to payment of the rent. We have a possession partner product now, which handles eviction filings and possession filings. And then we have a resident pre-collect product as well, which handles collections after resident leaves before it has to go to bad debt. And then we have leaseloans.com, which helps provide residents with small loans in order to pay the rent so they don't have late fees and they don't risk getting evicted and having to pay legal fees for eviction filings.
Really fully wrapped yourself around that tenant, ultimately with the goal of keeping them in the property if you can, but if that doesn't work out, then there's a pathway as well.
Exactly. It's a lose-lose for both tenant and resident, and a resident and landlord. And so everybody loses in that. So our job is to liaise between the landlord and the resident to see what we can do to work out terms for payment or get them a loan or resolve any issues they may have, and do a lot of education to let them know what their options are and what they're looking at, what the future holds based on, how their decisions.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so there's other people that do this. Why do people come to you for this service?
Well, very interesting question. This service does not exist.
This sort of suite is new. It's a brand new idea.
This is a brand new offering that has never been offered to the multifamily community before. And it's just really born out of the needs that our clients have been voicing to us over the last 30 years. And our wish to sell more than just one product to our client base of 3 million units. Nice. So, the services that we provide are a big thorn in the side of property owners. And we think that by taking all these rent payment issues off the hands of the local property manager, it's going to make the property a more valuable asset, and it's going to make it easier to run.
Nice. That's great. Solve big problems and the world will beat a path to your door, right? That's the hope here.
The thought is, this is really hard to do, and the thought of when it's really hard, there's usually a need for it.
Absolutely. So what percentage of your revenue recurs every year?
That's one of the nice parts about being in this industry. And one of the reasons why I got in this industry 30 some years ago is the recurring revenue aspect of it, where I can make a sale and bring a client on board, and I can still have that client 25 years later. And that is the case.
You have some clients from the beginning of the business still?
We have clients that, are 20 years with us.
That's phenomenal.
So I would say recurring revenue is 90% is recurring revenue, 88 to 90, because we're growing about 12%. Our sales grow 10 or 12% a year.
On top of that. Nice. So what is the point of constraint in your business? And we talk about that in the CEO project, as sort of what is the one thing you could change that really makes the business better? What would it be for you?
Offering multiple services, just as we have,
check.
We're rolling out now. Yeah, in fact, it's so new that the new name of our business is Resident Interface.
Nice.
And Hunter Warfield now will just be one of the services that we provide under the Resident Interface brand.
Nice.
So the bottleneck that we've always had is the sales, the time to close, the amount of time it takes to complete the sales process, and how important bad debt collections is to the property owner. And the fact of the matter is, it's important, but not that important. So if one of our competing, if a competitor is doing a reasonably good job, it's very difficult to unseat them unless they're really screwing up.
Yeah.
And that's a high bar. So, they have 10 other more important things to do to try to affect their bottom line than change debt collectors. So our bottleneck has always been the mafia offer, having so many reasons for a client to make a change that it overcomes the relationship with the current vendor, the hassle it will be to move vendors, and all those other things. That's our biggest bottleneck. And so we're really excited that these multiple services are just going to be so much and so attractive that the client is just going to say, "Uncle, it's been great, but unless hey, competitor, unless you offer these other services, then we got to go."
Which they don't. Yeah. And that's the definition of a mafia offer. It's so good, you'd be crazy not to say yes to it. So yeah, I think you got there. That's awesome. So how many hours a week do you work now, and where do you allocate your time in the business?
I just really, from being in these CEO peer group organizations for 17, 18 years now, the things that we talk about, the books we read, the issues that people come across, all those years, when I learn these things, I use them. It doesn't go in one ear and out the other. And so it's really from the peer groups and the education I've gotten from the peer groups like Inc. CEO Project, that I've, learned how to be able to spend, 4 hours a day as a CEO of the business and only work on strategic things, stay out of the weeds, work on the business, not in the business, and have one direct report.
Nice.
So I have one guy that reports to me as the president of the company, and our vice presidents all report to the president.
Nice.
So it allows me to stay out of the weeds and keep my focus on tomorrow and next year and 5 years from now.
Nice. That's great. So given that you've already moved to a model with one president, can you name one major responsibility that you've delegated to somebody in the last 6 months, or were they already gone?
So a lot of times what'll happen recently, now that we're providing all these new services that we've never provided before, it's uncharted territory. So sometimes there'll be things like, we're going to be producing a bunch of videos. And, I wanted to guide that process because I have a vision for what I want these videos to do. And so I started out by taking that on to get things pointed in the right direction. But I've really quickly realized that I can't handle it. It's not, they're better, more experienced people that have the time to handle it in the organization or one of our vendors than me. So one of those things is the videos. So I'm in the middle of crafting the concept. And once people are dialed in the right direction, then off it goes to a member of the team.
I think that's a great place to be involved as a CEO, sort of inception, vision. Let me tell you what I want, and then somebody else can go execute the heck out of it, because that's not our job as CEOs to execute like that. It really isn't.
No, and in fact, the funny thing is, so now I get to do all the fun part. I don't have to do any of the boring part. And in fact, as soon as it becomes boring, it's like a tell for me that I shouldn't be doing it.
That's great.
Because for me, boring is, hey, I've done this before, or this is below my pay grade. This is not my best use of time for the organization, and so I just get to do the fun stuff.
I love it. Well, and that sort of ties in the next question. What are one or two things that you've learned as a CEO that sort of, creates your CEO brand? This is sort of how Steve approaches the job.
One of the beauties of being the CEO is that it's okay to be wrong. And so, and when it's okay to be wrong, you're more apt to take risks. And so what I really attempt to do is I work hard at communicating the background thinking behind my decision to the executive team, so they can get in my mindset, so they can understand how I'm thinking and how I arrived at that decision or that direction. And but I'm very willing to be wrong. I don't need to be right, just want to win. Sometimes I may disagree with some decisions of the executive team, and I might say something like, I'm concerned about this or that, but if you feel strongly about it, go for it. Because, I don't need to, making all these decisions is not, it's not possible for me to do because there are too many decisions to make. And now, I've really come to realize that it's not my job to know all the aspects of the business anymore. And that's really a burden off your shoulders. 10, 12 years, 15 years ago, whatever, I'm like, this is my company, so I need to know every single thing about it. And what a big responsibility. And then finally I realized, it's not my job to know anymore, and I can't know it.
That's awesome. Those are great.
There's a lot of, hey, I don't know the answer to that. Let's talk to the expert. So I listen to a lot of feedback from the team, and I am more of a listener than a talker.
Awesome. Those are great, Steve. I can tell you that I remember the first time I was running a big enough company where I didn't know everybody in the company at that point. And it freaks me out to meet people and they say hi. And I'm like, I am so sorry. I know you work for me and I don't know who you are. Right. I mean, but you got to get used to that stuff, right? It's going to happen.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
And as bad as my memory is,
no chance.
All right.
Yeah. Last question, which is a fun one. You're going to ace this one. What do you do for fun?
I mean, I've found a whole new opportunity for fun. I used to play golf all the time, a couple, 3 times a week, and had to quit because of my back. But I found a whole new venue of fun in Park City, Utah.
Wow.
So now I've discovered that I need a wake surfing boat. So I'm wake surfing now. I've discovered I need a side-by-side buggy, dune buggy thingy, a UTV, I think they call it. So I need one of those. I need 2 snow machines.
Totally.
I need a mountain bike. And so I have all those things now. So those are the things I'm doing for fun, and a lot of exercise. And I like to travel around,
hopefully we'll get back to that soon. So yeah, Park City's great. If you want to live an outdoor active lifestyle, man, it's just hard to beat it. It really is.
I can't believe how much I like it. And I like that mountain lifestyle. I love the weather too.
Wonderful. Well, Steve, this was phenomenal. Thank you so much for the time. Truly are a great CEO, and I love this rotation you're making. I'm going to be excited to see where it goes to. So thank you.
I'm excited too. Thanks, Jim.
All righty. Cheers.
Talk to you later, folks.
Bye.